Alright, just a quick video on how I did the stone effect. We need to start out with a bunch of grays from dark to light. I'm going to be using some dry brushes. If you don't have actual dry brushes, these ones are from Army Painter. If you don't have these, makeup brushes work. We'll need a big one and then some smaller ones. Now, I don't have anything here that needs to be stone, so I'm just going to use this model. I'm just going to do it on the back of her head here. But you start off with, hold on one second. Trying to get the thing in frame here so you can see it. Yeah, so we're just going to start off base coating it in the darkest gray that you want. And you can do this with a brush or an airbrush. I'm just going to use this dry brush since I have it right here. That's going to be good enough just to show it at least. So I've got it base coated in the darkest gray. We'll let that dry. Alright, now that it's dry, I cleaned off the dry brush, but you want to use a paper towel to get most of the water off. It's okay if it's a little damp, but you don't want it soaking wet for the next step. The next step, you're going to need a paper towel, and we're going to go to the next dark gray, but we're just going to put a little bit on there. And then we're going to take a paper towel, and we're just going to rub it around. We want to get most of the gray off. You can test it on your thumbnail just to see how much kind of gets left behind. See how there wasn't a whole lot. And then we're going to do what's called stippling, which is basically we're just going to poke it. Right? We're going to do that. And if not a lot is being left behind, you can add a little bit more. Like I dried that one off a bit too much. Do that. Okay, it's still leaving some around. And you can kind of see how we're adding some texture to it. We just do that all over. So now we've got a bunch of texture there. And then you wipe off the rest of it on this paper towel, and you go to your next lighter color. And the idea is that as you go up in color, you use less and less of it. So you can see that one was pretty heavy. So this one, I will do, and actually, you know what? This is the bigger brush. I'll switch to one of my smaller ones here. We can do the next color in the smaller brush. And the same thing over here on the paper towel. Just kind of wipe it off. And you can check, like on your thumbnail, see how much is going to be left behind. And then we will stipple that in, but not as heavy. So leaving some gaps, right? So you can see that. And then wipe it off, go to the next one, and eventually you'll get up to something that looks like a grayish white or even a white. And that you kind of want to reserve for areas like this where there's a crease or a bump, right? And you can kind of highlight those. Do some random white stipples in here. Probably don't want to use white because that's going to be very overwhelming to the eye. But you can do that. And then once you've gone through your grays, you can bring in browns, reds, greens, anything to kind of age it. I like this gargoyle gray. It's kind of got like a brownish tint to it as well. So we'll just take some of, oh, hold on. Let's take some of that. and do the same thing. We're just stippling. Just trying to add some color variation in it now. And then, once you're done with that, you will take a darker wash. So not black, you kind of want it to be a brown. So maybe like a strong tone or even a soft tone. And then you're going to basically just wipe that all over this thing. It's going to tint it a little brown, but it's going to help blend in like the different color areas. So I'll go ahead and apply that. I'm just going to use my dry brush for it. I should probably use a regular brush, but it's here. And then we'll let that dry. All right, now that it's dried, you can kind of take a look. You can see how it kind of helped to blend in or provide some transition between the different colors. And so there you go. And it would probably look better if it was on a piece of rock instead of the back of this lady's head, but that's the general idea. And you don't have to follow this exact recipe, obviously. You can throw in different colors or whatever. But there you go.